Hi there, Meg here for fiddleleaffigplant.com with another helpful instructional video, especially for owners of the celebrated fiddle leaf fig tree. In this video, we are going to address this species' most common problem, root rot. Here with me today is a 2-year-old Ficus Lyrata. Now, this plant has all the outward signs of a robust health. It's got a strong, thick trunk, perfectly developing new growth at the end of each tall branch, and a good condition of the leaves in general. You don't see any torn, shriveled, drooping, or discolored leaves here. But exactly 1 month ago, I noticed one of the big lower leaves had begun turning an ugly dark brown. I had read an article on fiddleleaffigplant.com entitled The Ultimate Photo Identification Guide to Fiddle Leaf Fig Brown Spots, so I was able to rule out a few possibilities immediately. It did not look like sunburn, which is a light tan color. Underwatering would have produced a light tan colored spot as well, so I crossed that off the list of possible problems too. Bruising from trauma would have produced a more crispy looking brown spot as well, so that was ruled out. Also, bruising doesn't spread. As you can see here, other leaves were beginning to be affected too, and quickly. Within a few days, 8 leaves were showing signs of distress. Based on these deductions, I determined I was probably looking at an infection. I brought my fiddle leaf fig tree outside, and with the help of my 3-year-old assistant, I removed it from its planter pot to inspect the root system. And sure enough, the very bottom of the roots looked like an old, dense compost pile, really. It was pretty gross. As you can see, we have more rootlets here than soil. And some of the roots were brown, mushy, and honestly just decaying. So quickly, I cut away the brown, decomposing roots. I pulled apart the compact ball to give it some of the aeration that it would be getting from earthworms if it were in its natural environment. Then I allowed the root ball to stay exposed to air for about 2 hours so that the soggy system could dry out a bit. Finally, I added fresh cactus mix to the bottom and sides of the original planter here and repotted the root ball back into its position. Confident finally that I was not watering an already wet root system, I drenched the plant, watching to ensure it drained properly. Confession time, I guess. Honestly, I was kicking myself the whole time I treated my suffering plant. I really should have seen this coming. You see, I was aware of the following root rot prevention steps, but I neglected the most important one. And that is the all-important imperative to monitor your fiddle leaf fig tree's soil moisture scientifically. You see, I had gotten lazy and was using the old finger assessment. Many houseplant enthusiasts casually encourage fiddle leaf fig owners to test the soil by probing a finger or two into the dirt to determine the moisture content. The only problem with that is often the top 2 inches of dirt contradict the condition of the soil and roots further down. In other words, your fingers may emerge dry while your plant's deeper roots are still wet like this. When this happens and you keep watering, your plant will eventually suffer root rot. So prevention tactic number 1 is to get a moisture meter and learn how to use it for consistent watering regimen. As a general rule, you don't want to water a fiddle leaf fig tree if the moisture meter is reading above a 4. If you worry your leaves and trunk will dry out, consider just using a humidifier or misting your plant occasionally to keep it hydrated from the roots up. And another thing I could have done to help prevent root rot is by spending less time diagnosing. While I did rule out bruising and sunburn and thirst, I got stuck researching bacterial infections. That's because some cases of root rot start on the edges of the leaf. Mine happened to spread from the inside of the leaf, as shown here, to the outside edges. So knowing ahead of time exactly what to look for could have saved me some precious hours in investigative research. In fact, this incident prompted me to check my 3 other fiddle leaf fig trees for early warning signs. Lo and behold, as you can see here, I found early indicators of root rot. That's right, the dim, rust-colored blur you see here on the underside of these leaves is the invisible beginnings of root rot. Right away, I treated all my fiddle leaf fig trees and recommitted really to using my moisture meter regularly. So there you have it. Prevention still is the best root rot medicine, but if ever you do see signs of root rot, identify them quickly and you may end up as lucky as I was. Just act decisively. Pull your tree out of its planter. Cut away any dead, decomposing, stinky roots, and pull apart any healthy but stuck together rootlets to give them some oxygen. Let the system dry out before repotting with fresh, well-draining soil. Then recommit to using a moisture meter and only watering when your Ficus Lyrata plants are truly thirsty. You know, I've cared for this plant since its infancy when it was about 12 inches tall and had 4 little leaves. I never felt the need to give it a name until now, but this plant has survived my negligence. It's a survivor. So I think I'll name it after a famous survivor. What should we call it? Leave a comment with your suggestion below or tag me in our online Q&A community, especially for fiddle leaf fig lovers. Oh, and for more essentials on growing a beautiful, healthy, happy fiddle leaf fig tree, grab a copy of the new book, The Fiddle Leaf Fig Expert. Inside you'll find everything you need to diagnose, treat, and prevent nearly every problem that could possibly come up as you care for this remarkable plant. And always, always thank you for watching.